any a newly promoted side Real Oviedo and Airborne. Villarreal last season omo was super, but a lot of players from Mutiminimu. I was seeing who almost state of the state of almost squad now. I was seeing who almost pre-season games in omo boy no at the same omni Oviedo games in omo boy and Oviedo for no crowd omo players at the same channel say Ghana ni ba ko Oviedo ho sasuna Ghana ni ba ko so wo Villarreal ene sa too matches no e betumi amaye bibia na I was saying 24 chechire mu ha say he be room looking at the squad how our teams in be set up the approach na fe lineups no yetumi awuram na fe de ho score line yetumi aden e de aba e ho no ye be ram Saturday games ni be koso saso na Sunday games ni be den e be koso e ho no mendra ye de top de obe wini ni ade bai eni ade a ene ye be hwe eye de obeje eye de goalkeeper no hana beji goalkeeper no coach Ben ye be sack in first ye be hwe sa to mienu we na fe from subsequent game days ni aba be hwe de obeji best player na first 11 or of a year at the end of the season afi flops no so you be predicted na afi in the subsequent days no you dey nyina dey edin dey abroad na be atumi akoye show me live I will Facebook na my bet o twa my bet na Africa na so my bet MYBET na watentemu kakra na afi bibia anso atumi aden akoye sa so na ukọ street is watching na eno so ye twagu de den e ho no ma anya fedi agro kra sa so na ukọ YouTube MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA TV nti bomode na join ho no wo YouTube do na wa share na the comment na ba na ye read the amount why na beje league no also forward ye bra na ye nkan emfama wo show no so na bibia so no ye den enkoyi ho no my bet for the FPL aba my bet the FPL aba sika da so every month be my bet wo sika or de be ma for also participation in a year fantasy a year league no nti ye de beto so na so hu de ekọ ene eye de eba my bet online radio bibia ekoso ho no ma enya asem eketo akra ye hwe my bet education quick na afi ye wi a na ye de eye news a ewo no nyina na enzo Maresca saba bonten obeka se look o say enye defender na any defender o say enye defender ni defender Chelsea wo defenders bebree pa but mienu bi ewo djuma ba ko omo ye den omo ya omo no mutumi ye ni ye pa ba ko epra Liverpool na aka ba ko ye fe no Tosin Adarabioyo na Liverpool de no likely say the whole of the season ahwe a omo ball because ACL no ye wo complication bebree ebetuma ba say obeba no na ye den bi ma ko 2 years ko fichire ko 2 years still oh my you say why you ready so available nti you cannot bang your hopes ewo players omunya ACL obeka ya Rodri so nya bi up to now and share that nya papa bia yesi wasa akose 3 months osahin sa na sa injury dey nti Enzo Maresca say ebeka Tosin Adarabioyo ebi musa sa na ne ye kase badi ashel ne Liverpool will board the same position. O say dabi. Esunu roller but they shell bo. And esunu roller Liverpool we dey ebo nti. Ono waka kire Chelsea penny for no clear say obehia defender. Defender no na adwuma ba be ye. CCB o say 3 defenders na ebo no. E wo say onya di ogyina finfi no. Na the ojian finfin na 2 players spend the boss road no enti ye be room say Chelsea here defender na ohia defender wana enye left center back na Chelsea here enti omo ka say na de na no the reason why na Chelsea call for Dean Hoyson no sa road no CCB no center back enu mu hia nti Europe na so wo hwem center back ben na wo sisi a Chelsea betuma akwa na de ade ena aba ye be hwe na fe ye hwe dynamics no ese anay abranti aye frɛ no aye nkunku ne de likely say aye Bayern and over returning na bibia so na ade etuma koye Bernard ye hwe aye MyBet education
yes ye hwe MyBet education enim say season na hyase ano no na ene investor BA ni beje because ene ubetimi do sika to MyBet echi na wetimi afiska enso wo nti yewemu de yewemu school ebie nti kwan bia so no eso won so wetimi fiska ba ope baby e diska MYBET.AFRICA nti time bia metufo enkotwa bet o baby season ya starti na bia wo la kaba wakoye long bet bi na abo na afi ne ba be ne grand audit there bi betwa MYBET.AFRICA e ho na wudi ya no ma send you message na why then wa verify na afi de wakọ use sika boko akba beto account mu na de opese odi ye bia odi aye nti na obeba be ka MyBet ebusua no a but www.mybet.africa e browser mu oba top right corner be hu icon bi a circle ni green mia so login any register say on register ya mia register ne so three simple steps and I'll be register nti ene first one your mobile money number the audio mobile money transaction send you discount how betimi ni boko abetu phone so the next one your username ubo username betimi use nickname edin bi a person odi show bi betimi da show but say ubo shame na bi o muka say edin no bi use de da for number ba ku mienu ka ho send you be man na unique compared to bi a wonu so use say edin no password ni de wa wonim ubo shame a confirm password no a confirm the same password or no emi register ne so on be send you verification code now they are verify your account no verify we are also about become MyBet ebusua no na ye wura into the new season offer ba ku bia MyBet dia ba mpesem no di hu nkomo early payout nti ene games ne koso no team na wetwa ne chi no o share 2 goals ani etua osika ama ehu hia se obetwa ama game na kwakopim na wiye nti with super cup ye etwa emu yi ukọ Tottenham straight win na ene Tottenham e share 2 goals na MyBet for etua osika ama game ne ko ekopim wiye na bibie nsi a Paris Saint-Germain betiti still waji usika okodin ewo baby nti ene ko MyBet.AFRICA early payout season ba be start o match sa be fa no choose early payout ene straight win odds no emu ntwin bia just 1 ni 2 na da omuntem nti ene o fa early payout na ho to ensi hwa aka bonus up to 1500% ene betting platforms ake na wa ma kese 1000 MyBet at the 500% ka ho into who share games long bets Friday Saturday Sunday game no now aka bonus ni mu yedu 1500% and I'll be nya MyBet omu wi omu the cash out option in so ataichi into with cash out option no partial cash out any full cash out game ne koso no now unso betimi yi partial ni bi we is scan kakra to ho no we jama de aka na kwa wie ewia bet ba ku be discount mienu ana ba ji full cash out ani de be si wo game ni mu bi amfa ho nti efutu ndi me de amawo MyBet.AFRICA na unso ko register na unso twa bet o na fiscal season ya ewemu.
All right, nti MyBet in common yedi no mama yen share how is the feeling like season return yen share the general overview of the league and your expectations then that enough yen specifics.
Yes, yeah, share season I think na obi a hwe Premier League signings at clubs na ya no odin with Liverpool one of the big spenders in the league. We hear Chelsea, Omukofa FIFA Club World Cup, and my 1 or 2 additions. Man United, no be any GD impose on bit me. This enough additions. And they Sesko, yeah, the Kunia, any Mbuemu Ababe Kanwa, just a team names who have beefy up on squad and the likes of Tottenham, Thomas Frank Abim. I think we share the EPL. It will be one of the most exciting league to watch this season because Untimi Jina Home predicted you bet me aje, ubet me akakeke. But say be a bet me the BBR 2 which is a team win a veggie bedding. Based on additions and collapse na den aye ewomu inti ene se ohwe leaks na obi ani age se ba MyBet.AFRICA so aba be kan kra boa because enye se bia ye hwe keke ye san fiscal to yembotom other leaks ne so abom modern aye additions so hwe the Spanish La Liga ene Xabi Alonso enso abo ewem one Hansi Flick ebekọ akobo so ho se den no betimi ama metimi awidi ho from adea Hansi Flick the last season and I say better Hansi Flick a form so sir Atletico Madrid they 1 or 2 wingers into their setup last season me can I say wingers ya dey back one need you omunya year ne o metimi nya 1 or 2 wingers am I prepared going into the season you hear the Bundesliga signings name course through year but Bayern Munich the ultimate team or no every time you only be can enough signings into the season or the one crucial winger ba be count, that is Luis Diaz, or her so de Christopher Nkunku so ba be count. Now for your man so metimi say we need a Bundesliga biom according to other competitions. The Serie A coaches ni movie and movie we free akwa we free and ekwa e che say senior league ni dominance ni tie ne be hwe Max Allegri asamba Antonio Conte enzo wom they are top coaches and they our teams in the season ni the list over. I think you've been one of the most exciting seasons with the Serie A, the Bundesliga, the French Ligue 1, the English Premier League, and the La Liga. Ubia upper leagues are shed here. Ubu say weekend we ede kwa kopim next year made year. You be enjoy ye, you enjoy so no. Now you face car MYBET.AFRICA.
All right.
Yeah. At least I think say always be a do this stage and a very great what you say because season yeah fit football, so when football back to ya na I mean energy any I mean energy be na room because probably nyame adom na enumre Liverpool be ball from there nyame adom watch na games need to aso ntia but say ya ye na ye football enthusiasts ye sound so ye investors in the game no ya na ye ni age ye sha na ye ni age no then na ye sound so ye investments na be niska EDBI agigi ne we be ama 36 bi so dey na lie. I think say season we start say na energy and so I mean it comes with the full spectrum of any emotions. Chelsea big games beba team be lose be the players at them and adia ye share no say the big signings are teams na Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyokeres, obia ehwesa at least the team signings are no we hit the ground running and so we are best season apart from the excitement in the money man investment in a baby and sounds you idea money energy because na say ko team tamprins ne wow team got me board in crana 36 most zero ababe teams they are well known, the Premier League, La Liga, all these players but we are back to watch the superstars. In fact, there are lots of Champions League super returning in that space, so I think say we through this stage na energy
okay and yeah to share first of all besides the Obeji goalkeeper,
Yeah.
we have a lot of strikers between our body say your Sesko our league in mu your Abrante Feno sexy so league in your Caress our league in your
Pedro Dilap.
Joao Pedro, your Dilap, your Abrante Feno who go Ekitike, Oko Aston Villa, your Watkins, so yeah, young share one strikers, no,
Yes.
Wood, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Usha strikers are ebi or movie about new class.
Yeah.
Say Victor Gyokeres, Sesko, Usha Jesus from Botafogo and Niwaba, Nottingham Forest. Usha the likes of Joao Pedro, Liam Delap. These are quality players. Ombetimia add BBR to their game. But if it's a last season, Adebako and Boama Ellen Haaland intimia J. That is the golden boot. Injuries at Tisimu. And a man Mohamed Salah Timi baby D kind ama BBR Timi Koye. And season as a meaning say every striker be available obetimi age, that is the golden boot. But say ubisa me top 3 ana obi a me predict so obetimi age the golden boot. Me call for Erling Haaland because I think say naturally a player be at the end of every season be able to play about 20 plus goals or and they say injuries and TNC he will surely win the golden boot and the other two players be a me pick account that is I'm looking at Joao Pedro doing a lot for Chelsea this season because it's about team one. There is a lot of chances being created for him, and one is to beat me a converting. The likes of Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Gittins, Joao Pedro, Estavio William will be creating a lot of chances. In terms at the end of the season, the Benya Chelsea players created 30 plus chances, and no be so any only Liam Delap send you beat me a converted chances. So Joao Pedro is another player. I'm tipping him to also get a chance to also win the golden boot. Now after the I'm looking at Mohamed Salah can repeat the same thing. He's the marksman for Liverpool on the bomb penalties on the baby and he would like to also lead the goals. ɛwɔ ɛde aboa Liverpool. So these are the three players: Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, and I'm looking at the wild card in player friend João Pedro. So on also with season, send you starting the season for FIFA Club World Cup to Chelsea 2 pre-season games. He can put up a good performance and also fight for the Golden Boot.
So what you say, Erling
Haaland,
João Pedro
and Salah.
Say, Bakuna Beji.
Yes.
Okay.
Listo. I think that I think I may share near money this season. Strikers or league in Mopao.
Yeah.
I say, Team Biawo a leading striker. Team Biawo leading striker. Haaland for City. Oh, and then Newcastle, so they will buy player. They will buy. I mean, a striker. If we Bekwa, Isak Bekwa, they will still buy a striker. So Team Biawo a leading striker. Maybe our leading striker won't be as big as the other teams. Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyokeres, João Pedro, Liam Delap, and all these players. And you see, I mentioned the last 2 seasons, top scorers. Definitely, so here about Premier League, people will mention Erling Haaland and Mohamed Salah. But to me, this season, with the inclusion of Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, the last time I said, Liverpool team this season, I said, I'm operating more from the right. From the left side. Omu games are so far boy in. I say Salah kwakwe some kwakwe isolated because Hugo Ekitike. So I don't know striker always ne runs ni na or you call left side. No nigga komune Florian Wirtz when you some partnership. Then Salah na abadi no about for Jeremy Frimpong to occupy that weight. Now one thing they say, no say this is Salah. He will give the numbers, but he won't be the top scorer. Now to Erling Haaland, the question may be say, if Ryan Desmond can provide at least 10 assists each, Sunday, not De Bruyne. I did back last season, and Mama a lot of goals. When Timan so pass Haaland say, not chances in time back. Because I call wingers no that means some of them also like to score. Ryan check if before the move when they get the chances, they would like to score and cement their position because what happening but sometimes we attacker are there one so goals. So this season, a lot of number 10s and wingers they also want to add up their goals. Indeed, maybe me who say top scorer no. Ebe call the Amako Palmer. Yes, Sana me because last 2 seasons he was second to Erling Haaland.
Okay.
With 22 goals, now Haaland share I think 27, just 5 goals. Last season, I share 15 goals. He was in the top 7 of the top scorers. Last season, I'm not so it was the worst ever season for Chelsea. Share to me, I see say if things are being equal, he's going to take the penalties for Chelsea because Chelsea gave no member this season. It means that Omunya close to 8 penalties in the season. Cole Palmer is going to play those penalties. He's a player that in-game goals Obet more than 15. So to me, this season, top scorer will be like 22 goals, 25 goals, and conquer the 30 goals margin and 29 goals. I see it will be in the early 20s, more 21, 22, 23. And I'm tipping Cole Palmer to take it. Maybe probably if Cole Palmer doesn't get the goal killer, I see Erling Haaland doing it because he's the most potent and prolific striker in the league.
Okay. You share the games.
With the EPL games.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed, you share EPL games so I think some exciting games so and a Liverpool and a Bournemouth ebebo na o share Bournemouth team na be di omo nkomo bebre. Ndra me be kan say omo ye one team and metipium say anhwe omo betimi akọ relegation. Based on omo signings on my omaton mo 85 no emu 3 na enam so no against Liverpool are only kuta the highest record in opening game wins. We win it 12 consistency. Going into this game, I'm not tipping Bournemouth to surprise Liverpool on the night, especially an Anfield night. But the first game of the Premier League, Liverpool this fixture mostly the go back. Bournemouth for making sure say 1 or 2 goals say Anfield no more bar. But last season, Liverpool team here over Bournemouth say their performance against them, especially in the Premier League, was very solid. With 2 games, Liverpool share 5 goals. Bournemouth should go back home. That shows the dominance of Mutimi at the J League. But if you're my last meeting, Anfield, it shows after the 3-0, their last time no ended in a 3-1, and that defeat a buy in 2022. I think every Bournemouth fan okoboso move through that 9-0 win Liverpool over Bournemouth, and they will look at repeating the same thing. This fixture I'm tipping Liverpool to win. We are going to see a lot of goals because it's the first game of the season. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool bet to make keep another clean sheet, because a name Bournemouth set up no player friend Ouattara likely to be joining Brentford into Babeka, the likes of we Semenyomu up front.
Squad.
Yes, Okan squad no, but likely to be to me moving to me. Needs a coach in the best starting there, and it would give Liverpool that exposure. So bet me a call. By the way, if we say Liverpool backline, their game against Crystal Palace, on my who say is a bit shaky. In terms of say the likes of Semenyo bet me a goal, and Liverpool it will be hard for Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. So I'll go for a Liverpool win, and maybe Liverpool and Bournemouth to score. Options are we. I should forbid me a call MYBET.AFRICA. I'm Man City anyway.
Yeah. I was say, yeah, I should who said, this is the kind of lineup we need to go into their squad. Now, players are free.
Bournemouth.
Liverpool team, players are free. Bournemouth team. What type of football ben yeah, Baba expect free Liverpool. You against Crystal Palace, so we can get inspiration from there, so we can start the analysis from there, let people understand, say, okay, this is how Liverpool with the absence of ABR and they are Trent any one, and they are a Momolet back Robertson now likely said a new player and then the best started now wings Aka Gakpo.
I need a new boy.
Yeah. So ena bomb off so.
Yeah. So until Mamira lineup num kakra, any the way I think the both teams beat me and set up. Okay, from the Liverpool side, I think that they will repeat the same lineup on Monday Crystal Palace boy. So we'll see Alisson, Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk, Kekes, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Salah, any Florian Wirtz, Gakpo, and Hugo Ekitike leading the front line. So now Vincent Boss, this season. The attack never more from the right and from the left side into the likes of Hugo Ekitike trying to isolate and also be creating a lot of chances for Mohamed Salah because Ombe double up, especially on the left wing side. Hugo Ekitike be drifty, Florian Wirtz be drifty. No who say Salah never be free. It's born switch corner. It will be easy for him to convert those chances to assist. But the problem I have with the Liverpool setup, especially going into this season, they not getting a natural DM. You who said last season there were games and slot omu winning by 2 goals, omu winning by 2-1. No assistant we Gravenberg, nor the likes of Endo Aba to make sure say a Chihobe solid. But any Gravenberg Endo going into the season, I don't think say they can give the similar shoulder Omomai last season. So they need to add another DM. But going into the season, you get players like McAllister or Nuzbet Miabo as a DM, very good on the ball, Szoboszlai, so very good on the ball. So I think it will be a game and Liverpool going with the same lineup, with the same playing style, and try to put pressure on Bournemouth defense. No, which Bournemouth side now, Petrovic will likely start for them. You know, in last season, Kepa Arrizabalaga and another Puma, and Petrovic beat me starting, and that back line on and the Barbe a problem. Sinesi is the available defender, and he'll beat me starting. The likes of Diabate or join him, I don't know, say, with me and the clearance, we have to start in the first game, or when me and meaning say. Hill beat me and started, and the Sinesi Hill centre back partnership was very poor against Man United in the summer series. Into a new Nameka say it's likely say Liverpool beat me and take a big advantage of this centre backs. And on the left and Smith Bejina Maton Kekes meaning say they would have 3 players in that back line and they are now starting to adapt to the team setup with Petrovic being imposed. It will be a very difficult game for them because trying to now understand the pattern of their play and everything, but be a big problem. But so up front, Uyi Ouattara for free game numa. You would have Semenyo, you would have maybe where friend is saying Ivan Nielsen Ebebo, you would have a player in where friend is saying Wepra, Cook Epra, who wouldn't be in that DM role for them. And that is another player where Unao. Kai Premier League will share some nice free kick we on also injury until they are back Adams and Scott and Ombebo as that double pivot. And I think say it would also be a problem for them. That partnership no didn't work in the summer series. So going into this game, the only people on me depended solely on them. Semenyo. Because Semenyo would give them that striking ability up front. Semenyo be mom that level of here in goal. Now here we have a Nielsen on also last season on a good performance, getting goals against the bigger clubs, Arsenal more any big clubs, so to go against them. In this would be a crucial game for Bournemouth. If they are to start their season well, a bejina any game because say Oshe Bournemouth line up on ball last season, not this season a lot of changes at team have him. Into any say a good start against Liverpool. Meaning say as one team market no players because I to players are my prediction I'm cast relegation on betting because their back line are very solid into this game I'm predicting Liverpool to win comfortably, but Semenyo a player be every time you visit Anfield no Otiminya go last season no she go but offside I think say any Obetimia saying another go Anfield. I'm looking at Bournemouth doing a good performance. Yeah, share other Premier League games a bit so Manchester City any Wolves. I think Man City this season who friendlies baby. My last friend boy against Palermo. Man City to make a picky victory. But against Wolves, be a big fixture. In Kofo baby TP Wolves, so I'm relegation because on my additions baby and who the pattern on person mobile. Man City on the other hand, one we are meeting media match for and say this season Man City be consider goals baby. It say share a Man City clean sheet a share who share pre-season any Club World Cup game on boy omunya ball na pressure sa into back line no here na kwan de mu and Rodri are saying pra meaning say Tijani Renders any the likes of Kovacic mu na betimi gina as their double pivot. How can they protect the back line? A big problem. Who share these two teams are 11 meetings on Meshia Wolves a winning mu two per and one ball draw back. That was a good performance Bruno Lage etimi edema ewo na Man City in their 7 games omaba against Wolves no emu 71% omaba over 2.5 ewo mu it means in a game no and ochina game no likely say City ebetimi ahye 2 or more goals ewo na ohwe Wolves on the other hand oma ade crucial players to their setup. John Arias ni ni so Obama Flemunezi FIFA Club World Cup and he wa ba join him na ohwa last season put up a good performance in the Premier League. Unya 1 or 2 crucial goals but that key player man missing Cunha. And I think that John Arias will be a good player bet me replace Cunha because of performance of mine in the FIFA Club World Cup. And the way almost set it up in a 3-5-2.
Okay.
Now last season Cunha any last season and about that 2 front and they Arias or similar to Cunha about finding the box, finding players in the box, shooting and also set pieces in or the free kick in way or yard. So I think they've not made enough changes in their setup. But the likes of Sarr, the likes of Totti, the likes of Hoover, more Ebejinema, Bomo, they say Biabetima Koye.
They will miss Anori.
Yes. And that is where they've brought in another player, friend Woofer. He's very good on the ball. But I don't think so. Betima that quality and no really more last season. But Man City setup, man. I don't think some Edison on Manchester City because they didn't weekend squad no.
Okay.
It's Trafford being the first start for Manchester City coming into the team. Their back line there, I wouldn't be surprised. They will give us the same back line with Edinori. Maybe Vadio will start at the left centre back role. No about Ruben Diaz as the right centre back. Matheus Nunes, commenter Pep Guardiola Emma on him recently wasn't that inspiring for me. But I think he will surely start him. Yebehu, the likes of Tijani Renders, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Ryan Cherki may start ahead of Savinho because Pep Guardiola mostly na player unstable sana on person manable. Into Ryan Cherki may start ahead of Savinho. Yebehu Doku and Erling Haaland, or maybe Doku would be replaced by Mamouche coming in because of Pep one play or the creativity up front. Then Erling Haaland will stand. So Oshe, this Man City setup on any day they can beat any team. It's the end said this game would be a game and Man City can win and also score 2 or more goals. It's all come and MYBET.AFRICA bet builder. Man City win over 2 goals, over 2.5 goals. Corners likely say bet me about because of pressure Man City be more, especially coming from the flanks, with the likes of Ryan Chekimo, Doku, Mamu should give a lot of pressure. So with Man City lineup, no, likely say Saturday will beat Messi. Yeah, Chelsea Sunday game so. These are the FIFA Club World Cup winners coming into the Premier League. Momentum near very high. I think the only problem at Chelsea was as at now, Liverpool or injury to me a bit, because they were looking at bringing that same momentum, Liverpool performance or down in the FIFA Club World Cup. Even in the last game at Chelsea, boy, he scored that crucial goal. Boamo qualified for the Champions League. But going into the game, player, I think they would go into the game to make sure that Chelsea would win and may win comfortably. One, Cole Palmer, two, João Pedro, and also the likes of Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. So make me a bomb.
So Palace, so no, have we heard anything about more players? Likely so.
Yes, and there's also a conversation. Say Newcastle, so Mateta, Bibianco, you're bet for coin for Mateta. Crystal Palace say at least Mateta performance of my last season 60 to 70 so mutimiji. So Mateta and so future name that settings but Crystal Palace team numa similar team against Liverpool. We'll see something similar. We'll see with Henderson in post, Magui starting as their defender, Munoz, Mitchell, Eze, and also Sa and Mateta. This team, Oliver Glasner, one of the top coaches. Performance
class, even though there are conversations about certain players, they will still play.
Yes,
okay.
Because any Nketiah, so Untimiana James or Beresti Mateta, Unya another striker coming in. So Mateta will surely start into they will go with their 3-5-2-1 formation there or Mobono. Now Oliver Glasner, he likes playing against the big teams. Because so it gives him the chance to play on counters. Now the likes of Mateta, the likes of Eze, the likes of Samu, it's me a benefit. Until they'll go in with something similar, but they are playing against the world champions. It's a big motivation for them. So to me, a point or a win against Chelsea, a set up on season very well. Crystal Palace from the start of last 2 seasons are Oliver Glasner by their first 10 games and they mostly get form, especially in their last 10 games of the season. Into having a good game against Chelsea, ebe boost your confidence that this season you bet me a call with a good setup. Bibia bet me a boy. Maybe Chelsea setup ne kakra. I think we'll see Sanchez will surely start in post. Rhys James, Tosin, Chalobah, Cucurella will start as their back four. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Bejina as their double pivot. In Fin Hone, Elko Enimno, and there are a lot of options. But I'm looking at Pedro Neto will start from the right wing position. Cole Palmer will be that number 10 or Bomom. Gittins will get a chance to start.
Okay.
Then João Pedro will start up front because against Crystal Palace, Omobo a three back. Here a striker, he can run in between the channels. And you need João Pedro. Say in the game, no stretch it to the 60-70 minutes. Obet me introduce Liam Delap now feed with the battle up front. So I'm not seeing the likes of Estavio Williams and you a good start in their game against AC Milan. I'm not seeing him starting, and I'm seeing the likes of João Pedro, Cole Palmer. I think Chelsea equate a good setup. Now, Osha their history against Crystal Palace. Last season, it was Stamford Bridge. Crystal Palace had been that 1-1 crucial win. Easy with a clinical goal with Timmy Shea. Now Chelsea, after that, no last 5 meetings, omitting a picky victory. As I win nipe. No mean to me, so I game nipe no mean to me and pick out Crystal Palace at the back pick. I'm seeing the game, surely there will be a goal. I'm seeing the likes of Mateta, is he getting a goal in that game? Now Chelsea would score at least 2 or more goals. And Cole Palmer, you name him saying the opening day in the AED maybe on time she goals, but this season I'm seeing him getting a goal. Chelsea will surely win. Cole Palmer to score, Eze to score, and both team to score. My last game, Man United near Arsenal. That is the most exciting game ever. So yes, in the Premier League. Now, this is one fixture history ever came Man United on the night. Now, Adeba Akoni say Man United ni opening game no or your team be on time Lucy. On any day in August on time Lucy. One also record or some say in August on the Arsenal Bo game Arsenal in August that. Back Ekoni Chia pass Alex Ferguson huko. They have history backing them on the night. Now, you share these two teams the ama game near exciting the two strikers on betting me lead the line. Ama both teams. Into a show my lineup would either see Gyökeres starting for Arsenal, Sesko starting for Man United. Man United ball closed door game in draw. Na Sesko able 2 goals. To mean say he's ready to start the Premier League game. It will be a very good game. Amorim, upe coach onim Gyökeres ins and out ono. Inti ene ono ma player ni be play or yeah. Inti so onim kwan obetimi a stop no. Ama ontimi nya ne dey. Ni na be gina Arteta, so would he try to gamble with Gyökeres going in? Or no be na James or be call with Kai Havertz to surprise Amorim going into the game. But I think said this will be a game surely a goal would happen. Into one game I met me a match for say go there kwan bia so betimi abo a game way. It is all come MYBET.AFRICA. Go a one option me two for sale betimi afa. Say them kind history about Man United. So likely say a handicap of 2 for Man United in this game a betimi. But I'm seeing the game ending in a draw. A full-time draw. Now players to watch on the night. Bruno Fernandes, the Man United team ni betimi akeleke. The likes of Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko betimi nyomudia. It will depend on how clinical Bruno betimi with his passes up front. Ebema team no. Then on the Arsenal side, I'm looking at Victor Gyökeres being that key man because so Timisha against Man United wa kicking off the season ye obetimi nya enough goals in the season. When Timmy nya good performance it may affect him also going towards the season. Over 2.5 likely say bebo. So this option, my bet for bet builder, make a charge for say both team to score over 2.5. So you be avoid team we be winning, team we winning and kwase or bet into both team to score over 2.5. One option mefa ewo game win. With other games ebe koso ewo other leagues. Yemhwe Spain mienu pe na afide Vincent into us. With Barcelona Mallorca, I think Barcelona game on bebo it will be a big game for them. And they meet me register Joan Garcia. Na senya nsemo kika kono Rashford ebi ontimi start and they start game no emo because of registration hun sem.
So I'm register na.
I'm register Rashford here. Inti yebe hun Barcelona lineup na but Joan Garcia eba be one of them new addition betimi rim. With their defensive lineup no we wouldn't see the Kubasi Indigo Martinez beyond because any Indigo Martinez a movie echo Anasa. So their captain now Arojo and a big room about with Kubasi. I think Barcelona fans will be big, but I think say performance wise, you need that leader in their setup. Bibi abetimi akoye. O share these two teams Mallorca team bia. Oka team obetimi ha Barcelona. Atwe no pie or no. Na last season Barcelona ebo home no. Obre yi ansa na o hye no. Na ene Barcelona ebe ko Mallorca home. So omuni ombekọ akobo. Na performance wise Mallorca etimi twen Barcelona sanyam kind. They played 2-2. Last time Barcelona had last minute goal in a 1-0 victory. And their last time at Barcelona any a good victory over them was a 4-1 and a 5-1 victory. I'm tipping the game to give us a lot of goals. The likes of Rafinha, the likes of Lamine Yamal, Cesiano, they want to put up a good performance to be able to increase their power ranking in the defense and the Ballon d'Or. Performance now better than it. No more last minute voting. No more say Lamine Yamal to me bought 2 goals against Mallorca. Into any Memphis me voting man. Barcelona set up. No, I'm looking at they scoring at least 2 goals in this game, and Barcelona also winning. Upesel call the safest bet. I think this game would give an over 2.5 in the game. Atletico Madrid Espanyol. This is one crucial game. Diego Simeone. What na team na che. Na every season be a befa sa na ankoye. We will see a lot of new additions starting for Atletico Madrid. But this fixture be last season it ended the 2 fixtures ended in a draw. A 1-1 draw and a 0-0 draw. Say investors back Kaipan that 0-0 draw. Atletico home. Mucha Atletico to score, Atletico to win. This will be one fixture. Likely said this season we are not going to see a draw. Atletico will surely win. And I'm seeing both teams scoring and over 1.5 over 2.5 in this game because Simeone I 1 or 2 additions in their setup. I think it will help them going up front. The likes of Alvarez having 1 season in the La Liga and they've gained experience now. And next season they'll be similar or more numbers senior man last season. So I'm tipping them to get that particular win over Espanyol, and Atletico will score 2 or more goals.
All right.
Yeah, listo. Namia do my the Premier League in starting. Liverpool ni Bournemouth ball, and it's going to be a game at the champions of England ever this season. I know. It's going to be an interesting game, but when can say I'm slots last season league not winning, despite the fact that or winning league in last 4 games in the Premier League or losing in Sombekaya, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, the last 4 games. But at that time now, Waji Trophy maybe, so losing that games wouldn't have caused them. But then against Bournemouth, it's going to be an interesting game. But looking at the history of the fixture, Liverpool in opening days, like the opening games, I had the most of my time because they are the only team at least to last 12 opening games. That is the highest that any team be team share. But we check it games against team it is Bournemouth, especially Bournemouth going to Anfield. Very difficult for them, and in fact Anfield they are 17 games unbeaten since last season. 17 games unbeaten. If Ope team be beating Makokoye since September, I think that Nottingham Forest team it is possible to go and score them. Nottingham Forest but looking at Cinnamon Mankind, Bournemouth losing some of their 3 key players at the back, 1 goalkeeper, 2 defenders. I think they are there beating me album. But then if Oshe Liverpool since 2012-2013 at West Brom, show me in the opening game, match day 1 in the Premier League at West Brom. Show Liverpool for at least unbeaten last 12 matches and we defeated the longest in its kind in the Premier League. So and Bournemouth so in as much as they don't have a very good record against Liverpool at Anfield, and there's first time for everything. Coincidentally, Bournemouth also last year opening games on my ball apart from since 2017-18 at West Brom. Show in the opening game. They've also gone best 6 games in the opening games at least almost million. So it's going to be an interesting game. In fact, last 6, we move 5. So it's going to be an interesting game. But then history, any record need to be actually Liverpool at Anfield and Liverpool on the opening days, good. But then they are coming to start the season with equally. They have some of their key players in Mohamed Salah, Alisson Becker, Virgil van Dijk. But then last season, one of the players are no more team in the year, Ran Gravenberg, they are going to miss him because Oji red card against Crystal Palace.
Okay.
I think their last game, so he's suspended in this game. So we are expecting Curtis Jones to start here in the Community Shield to start. In fact, that game, Curtis Jones they near the most passes. So if he's going to play at that number 6 runner, in terms of the build up and everything, he's going to be key. But in the Premier League, that defensive shield, and then if Areola Bournemouth coach, ever go by the playbook, Crystal Palace they can punish Liverpool. A fact. But the question is, can Bournemouth stop Liverpool from scoring? Mohamed Salah has been in the Premier League. Wajigo Kina to also 3 or 4 times. I stand to be corrected. But if they manage to defend very well, compact defensive, low block, and however stopping because Florian Wirtz they are new to the Premier League. So the only players are it might be inevitable for them to stop Abia Salah, Cody Gakpo, and other players. But Bournemouth first player if they only create chances, Semenyo can play with both in the right and in the left. Whatever any chances be any space on done or in the midfielder they can punish them. They still have their key players in there as I say almost defenders. In midfield and in attack, they managed to keep all these players. It's going to be a very tough game. Initially, say a static game season, and yes, fatigue and injuries, but then Liverpool so able to some key players, maybe McAllister, Zobos Lamuina, available, but then they are going to the season without some of our key players last season, Luis Diaz, any Trent Alexander-Arnold and other key players. It's quite unfortunate. Said Milos Kekes, the first Premier League for Liverpool ever be against the former team Bournemouth. It's going to be an interesting game, but I think that Liverpool will likely are going for a double chance for Liverpool. We should expect over 1.5 goals and more corners in this game, over 8 over 7.5 corners over this game. Let's do another game I'm share a year. Man U and Timande. I'm share Aston Villa and Newcastle game. Last season, these two teams, finished league with the same points. but Newcastle the goals and the beat so it's quite unfortunate that Aston Villa couldn't qualify. But over here two teams at least two. In terms of recruitment in Yamano, it's some way. Aston Villa, they lost Asensio loan. They lost Marcel Disasi, permanent, and Omasanso Lusu Marcus Rashford. But going into the game, if they have Malen, they have Watkins, and they have Morgan Rogers, they can punish and hit any other team in the Premier League. Because who shared the Premier League for the last 5-7 years, you will mention attackers, Oberba, you will not. Oberba won't mean for Watkins and Kan was one of the players in terms of playmaking, in terms of scoring. So in any other day, he can hit a Newcastle. But Newcastle side, their marksman, their top striker is not going to play in this game. In Alberta, they are Alexander Isak, and in fact, who checking almost preseason game, they didn't even win a single game. So it's going to be very difficult for them. They still have Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, Shane Longstaff, and Sandro Tonali. These players, any given day, they are top midfielders in the Premier League. And then they report in saying, Omone Aston Villa with Abraham and Ramsey, who's also coming to help in midfield. But in attack, if they don't play Omar Kra, more young striker, that means that they are still going to play either Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon as false 90. Or more front there, can be Jacob Murphy, Harvey Barnes, and then Abraham and Anthony Gordon. I think that then also Ilanga so Abba. So this game will be a game or better take you chance to beat time. But then you look at Aston Villa list too. They have a very fine form, especially Villa Park, because almost last 21 games across all competition list too. Winning 8 and they are unbeaten in their 21 games of Omar, and almost last 8 games in the list too. Winning. To be very honest, Newcastle doesn't have a very good record at Villa Park. Because I check here, Villa for list to winning last 5 out of 6 games against Newcastle. Obeka 4-1 winner April was also part of that game. So Newcastle going to Villa Park, I am not Omontai and Shadang. But looking at record Nema Bibia a favor Aston Villa for some measure. In fact, we check almost opening games are twice before both occasions share Ipswich. Any Aston Villa Newcastle was more opening games. I am very tough for them, so it's going to be an interesting game. However, this is Unai Emery playing at Villa Park, and I think say Aston Villa should carry the day because Newcastle team and they will be missing that centerpiece in there.
I use movie. Gordon. Anthony
Gordon is available.
Okay.
More attackers in there will be available. I think the only player maybe he might not be available in here, Jacob Murphy, because of I don't know Murphy injury situation. But then any other player be available, available apart from maybe I think more Isaka need any issues than maybe any other player. But aside from all these players, I think say Ilanga, Gordon, Harvey Barnes, they are all available. And Aston Villa, so they've been able to keep their 3 main key players. The goalkeeper, Mings Monoconsa. They have Magin. They still have Morgan Rogers and Omusanso Oli Watkins. So I'll go in for a double chance for Aston Villa over 1.5 goals in this game. We should expect a lot of corners, a lot of fouls, and bookings also should come into this game. Because Obo midfielder again, Joe Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes, you know, said the midfield battle will be very keen. Spurs ni Burnley bebo. Ghanaian interest Mohamed Kudus will make his first official debut for Spurs in the Premier League, and they are playing against Burnley. And last season, used to game way. Wow, person could goals be announced. He also team yesterday. Last season, Burnley ball game considered just 16 games. So out of 40 games, or more in the championship. Omu team no, they haven't lost any key players, but Omaye making inclusion Chelsea 2 boys. Yes, but yes, some goalkeeper and call. But then they've made, and I'm gonna say apart from Trafford, apart from the playing body, Oman shouldn't lose play, but they've made inclusion. They've also bought another goalkeeper to replace Trafford, so the defensive line will still be intact. But then Tottenham Hotspur's team no, I check your games, especially against in the preseason. one or defeats be 1 or 2, and then they were conceding a lot of goals. But in the Super Cup was a different game. I don't know, a cup game. So how Thomas Frank set up team might be different, because how I aboard that game against PSG, I don't think that he will play that game against Burnley. It's going to be an interesting game, especially Tottenham elbow home and they have the nod. So I'll go in for a double chance for Tottenham Hotspur. But this game, I doubt say over 2.5, under 2.5, highly possible, because of how both teams set them up. Defensive first, then we hope say it me Ashe another goal. Wolves any Man City. Send money mankind. Wolves are losing key players. Kunha, no, I mean, a key part of a team last season. But the Man City, in as much as lose some key players, Man City attack and can score goals at any given time. They still have Erling Haaland, they still have Jeremy Doku, they still have Phil Foden, and as much as Bernardo Silva in the team. And no more Kovacic. Maybe the only additional or about Moutinho or Bakasebia or you're new to the team, you'll be Tijani Reinders. But if you watch Reinders from AC Milan, the style of play as a box-to-box midfielder, he can complement the players out number so much well. And I think City will also win against Team Anidin at the Wolves. United and Arsenal is going to be an interesting game. In fact, we'll check it 2 teams now. Man United for no. So more call into the top flight campaign, especially say Omar winning match day 1 contest. Omar winning be saying any other team in the history of the Premier League 22. Say young winning first another opening games. United are winning the same team. Yeah, they are hoping say they can also do that. So the mankind normally Otaisha Arsenal and then say Etida Arsenal. So regardless the current format. 2 teams in our war. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. But then United first and the first team to ever beat Arsenal. So multi sure one. I'm gonna be the first team watch Arsenal more times, 100 times in the history of this competition.
Man United.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be an interesting game. But then Ruben Amorim team no. Amafa Junior was preseason lose match. Both, so they played their Premier League series. They played with the Premier League teams, the intensity and everything, and also came back. Arsenal, so Monoso, one team, the team, said they should be a team also major league in this season, because the Inter makers are list to. Let's compare the top 4 teams this year. AB Chelsea, I was starting gather the moment too. If you compare Liverpool, Arsenal team now. On the team I said for the past 3 seasons, Nikov the team omo ina da so ho. Liverpool omo lusu Arnold Oko. They've lost Ruben Dias. City lusu Kevin De Bruyne. Also lusu Jack Grealish, who was an integral part of team no just treble. Despite the fact that last season he wasn't closer to starting in the money. But look at Arsenal. Omo key player been for the past 3 seasons men every home. In fact, they've even made provisions and our recruitment to bolster almost and say Saka niwa we have Noni Madueke. Say Martinelli niwa they are still Madueke betima boho and they striker. Almost the Victor Gyökeres obi or share most goals you coefficient sense than any other striker in the league last season. So Arsenal they list they don't have any excuse. Players for the past 3 seasons, Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, mention 3 defenders. Top 3 defenders in the league. Obebo Van Dijk, the 2 other defenders will be Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. Arsenal 2 center pair. Maybe Timber inconsistency, but last season issue was when he's fit, he can play. And also Abraham there Lewis Kelly. So about that left back, not or event here, he's one of the best in the league. Now in midfield, Omodi Zubimendi Aba. They have Rice and they still have Odegaard. If Odegaard can replicate in the last 2 seasons performance and he can also improve it's going to be ideal for them. So Arsenal they used to go into this fixture. I think so Ruben Amorim the team number when you Benjamin Sesko, when you Mbeumo, when you Kunha by early days yet Omunyan.
Okay.
But Arsenal team or harder. So even if almost striker Gyökeres back also the connection with the 2 teams in national fire, still you should expect say Arsenal team they have the core with the Liverpool say and then the front 3 our variable we Salah free Nunes score Luis Diaz score but they still have some of their key players in there. I think say Arsenal this game should be a game. I think say Emubeti might there, but Ruben Amorim so the team no. But as far as compare the team to Arsenal, it should be a game or it should be a different game altogether. And Arsenal so I should actually say, especially for some time now, about on the big 6 games now. Was also any boy pass. So I'm going for a double chance for Arsenal. To me personally, I see this game to be a full-time draw. But
Arsenal,
yes, I see it to be a full-time draw. But then I'm going for a double chance for Arsenal. Probably we might not witness a lot of goals, especially Arsenal. So one show a bad in submission. I'm expecting under 2.5 goals in this game too. Corners, trust me, only Arsenal nearby. That counts for. They should rely on a lot of set pieces. Now, explaining new set pieces. They rely on set pieces to also get some goals. La Liga. Barca, defending champions, ever best started against Mallorca. Away. Joan Garcia, finally, when Inigo Martinez scored, Obisu to say. I'm captain tested so I accept here and they've been able to register one Garcia Rashford there early days yet, but this is Barca team Onion Lusu any team there Mallorca for they are capable of making that match very tricky because last season Omani very tricky in my Barcelona for you but then if Barca share any home side with quality or share any quality needs or score sheet, so it means that they will beat my Mallorca. For if you look at the Barca team now, list Garcia, Kunde, Arao, Kubasi, and Bade are going to start. It means that any Arao no Kubasi member, Pedri, De Jong, Lamine Yamal, Femi Lopez, Rafinha, and Lewandowski will not play in this game because of the fitness issue. So I expect Ferran Torres to lead the lines, but if
I'm light. Barca, yes, now their defense is all over the place. They are Kubasi everything.
Yeah, Kubasi. The only
so
player
on
Inigo Martinez.
Inigo Martinez score.
And I'm saying the only player on board Inigo Martinez. But then Arao Abama, and one said Arao Listo. And yet, he's always open Barca defenders as center back.
But you know, I'm the ball fan one. If you know,
oh no, but I don't say need the nakwa say I feel na ofri injury and that high line. Or no around. In fact, all pace send Barca defenders in. So he can still watch your more preseason games, especially more last 2 games. He's been playing with Pau Kubasi. So our team, even if our defense no ensure that that partnership now. Martinez and Kubasi, I still don't see that Mallorca team will be to Madrid Barca. So I made a 3-1 victory for Barcelona. Highly point because they have Lamine Yamal, they have Rafinha, and Femi Lopez. Actually, said that number 10 rule now said Danny Omoni Hona or beat Nyabo Asanso Abonier. Madrid listo. Omubebo Madrid Bebo Nyame Adma. I think Tuesday is also part of the opening game. Washa. There's been a lot of issues surrounding Madrid team. No, Carlo Ancelotti call they are coming to hope to meet MYBET league. At their free pass and same. It's going to be an interesting game. But looking at how almost your modern, I think say a very very difficult. At the Madrid for especially this season. But then if Madrid right into the season, they has Kylian Mbappe, the goal debut in Europe. He has Vinicius Junior, who's also one of the poster boys in La Liga. And Madrid pay. Any team you meet should be a team. I think that Madrid beat Machine against Osasuna. Madrid home. It should be a gamer. I think it's a movie team. Oh, check Madrid. In as much as they don't have a team in Angelian, a team no there. Edam Militao back. And almost last 3 preseason, it means that coach prefer Edam Militao. Militao on list only more. He's a Brazilian defender. Yeah. So always your Brazilian defenders. So even you can say in print the current players, Thiago Silva, any Marquinhos cry in fact and Militao no any injury always he's one of the best defenders in the world. So Militao back and I think the last game was a goal and I think the horse in a goal. So Eda Militao any the horse and previously say the lineup and analysis now. We check on the last 2 games on boy now. Or bought 2 center backs, but then Tchouaméni will drop deep. And against Osasuna team, or about typical 3 center backs. So Chouameni will be there when Omo Bedi Apromoko attacking phase. Chouameni will drop and help Federico Valverde and Ada Goulet to also clear the lines for them. Arnold and Frank Garcia. Probably Carreras Eba team Akakakra, but then he will still start Frank Garcia to also bring in the pace of flanks. Vinicius Junior Kylian Mbappe, and I think say Gonzalo Garcia, a player on me as 30. If you look at Osasuna, in fact, one of the oldest players in the league, Anti Budimel. Sabrante last year can once.
Yeah, correct striker.
Correct striker.
Yeah.
34 years and our experience.
Yeah.
So any spaces be a Ombeja se Chouameni and Timan Bois Din Hoisin. Any obi to say Adam Militao on should any match fitness. Budimel, any chances be on Menya Biano, or no subit me Eddie Ashe. And they also have Ruben Garcia, another experienced player. Also, so I see Real Madrid winning. Probably maybe almost maybe a 2-0 victory for Real Madrid against Osasuna. And the DFB Copa, but I think that these are some of the notable games I'm here, and I think that René and Marcel also a gamer and Ubeshi. This derby team now Washishan list to anything. But then us no more Marcel, we drew and I see Marcel winning. Through us,
okay.
A cheap us na my bet for their money.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean these are some of the games I'm hearing.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking at Chelsea CCB options. I just so what is informing the numerous defenders at Chelsea AKP if only 2 pen a ball one ultimate ball roll and coach in the air pen doesn't mean say other you know me fan say defenders what first one is saying.
Okay, Listo, I think say sir if I read Enzo Maresca pretty much no normally one would say Chelsea started build up you started from the back and always but Medicanca say if you a player you build a ball no from the back or you're very good on the ball or more progressive passes and you obi to say Liverpool and which started last season Enzo Maresca if Fofana is fit not over you 4 center backs neighbor say you build it up he's Liverpool when the center but when I started build up because he's the more player or you're comfortable with the ball ultimately ball progressive passes apart from maybe Enzo Fernandez and other midfielders now so he was the centerpiece of your midfield and Yakwakoto Gerald Hato Aba he can also play as a center back and as a left back coach now some more kind and say or say Hato is a new one he's never played as the guy in the middle last season that is central defender yes but it's different so then they say we have a lot of center backs there so on the Chelsea team now if Liverpool were not Badashili are more composed and but only then on board start progressive part because or no already on your establishing whole team and anytime you able Badashili be a Liverpool or Hobiano Badashili mum and the left side all operating from that flanks so for him as a coach to start in the build up and Washa anytime you are Chelsea you're able to toast so you are very well composed but me finding in the spaces and the channels no until some kind say we have Chaloba for at the end, we can say he's available for selection that day. But in the fitness level, no, we cannot rely on him. And in fact, if you want to build up your team now, he's not the player you bet him about. And Russia against Leverkusen, you go game new year now. They say Chelsea are starting here Colombian player no. A brand and here Capi. I started editing come say they will replace him. And Gerald Hato then coach I maintenance because Hato it's me as a center back but always as the left center back if I'm more build up now he's not the center man last season or most of the season also as the left back into I don't know Album he can play as a left center back but we will need somebody say starting build up no better so now coach Johnson more can say Obo raiding tossing we are starting a build up now we can start with tossing but listen to the season yet mean co season without only tossing who is comfortable in say starting build ups Chaloba and Fofana very good say be a boyfriend but they can swing in the passes to but the middle passes to be a obe boy me ya build it you game me very well no. He's not that go-to guy at Chelsea Bateman. So there are a lot of other in coach Nama sporting directors now aware say in the press they know his stance. He need another center back. We cannot rely on a champion. We cannot rely on Badiashile because even as of now, Badiashile is not fit. Inti say Yabeko season without buying any other recruitment. Now say ma Obiti said Renato Vega mo emba. Now situation is different. It's up to the sporting director and say, oh, they can convince Renato Vega, but Adibakoma Vega yes na coach ni peno. He insisted say he wants to play as a center back and he needs playing time. Now if you are coming, coach Nisi Tosin can play that very well and Chaloba and Fofana is coming. So it means that the player who feeling for Levi Kowo in the first on the sheet should be Tosin. Because one is the only player but you're going into the season, that's a Tosin so list to Okonya accumulated yellow cards. No, but who will fit in to play that pass is not for us. So we have a lot of center backs. But Renato Vega, if they decide say they are going to buy him, no more like Ebesan Ednaba first in one. Right on himself, he's going to be second fiddle to Tosin. Still, Emma in the relationship with the coach and the situation of the free Chelsea and yet to Clinton said there's only one player Chelsea for now starting any didn't come up. Especially they have a very good relationship with Bayern Leverkusen. So here pre-season that's a team be any team about friendly match. I mean that this
Talk Sports.
Yeah.
A report now. Is it anything to go by? Sir, they are discussing internally to keep and reintegrate Renato Vega after injury to Kowo.
Yeah, and that
Enzo Maresca has the final say.
yes.
Is it something that is possible?
Yeah.
Can he play that role?
Oh yes, of course. Anything I want to can say Renato Vega can also play, but the issue are Emma Abrante no every Chelsea called Juventus loan say he needed playing time because list to season a woman a World Cup season.
Okay.
And this boy has been playing for Portugal for some time now since Ofri Basobe joined Chelsea. And if he doesn't play regularly, and coach no commenter, he will need somebody who can compete. Say, oh, me babe replace Kowo directly. And so maybe a Chaloba money to him no be pray for that right center back could not pray.
Okay, before I go back to us, you the investor Renato the no can order that. And if there is, and yes, it is clear, sir, Sanka Enzo Maresca be Casano. If Omo agree, because also what can't ne then what he thinks about SRU no, what can't directors.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he did that, and as Obekan, a brand still now Renato Vega there.
Yeah.
So it means that Renato Vega there, it will be maybe at the last resort. Say be a copy defender, you be rely on him. Now let's look at check we mami. Abrante your friend Alessandro Ribeiro. Oh yeah,
Brazilian international.
Oh yeah, Brazilian.
Yeah.
Brazilian international. And also a boss CCB nibi. Ono so ye lembo footed sa ne 92 ni nyina o te se di hoising yen hwe omutu no comparison say one de woka no
Yeah.
Leverkusen boy no.
Yeah. Now I think these are the two main players they've been linked with that role.
Okay.
Other scouts and other reporters are omoye player scouts and saying that these are two key players so they have been linked with that role. Now Chelsea also look into the market because they want to finalize Garnacho and Xavi Simons. And now utie nkomo free buyer buyer omo CEO any Chelsea for no Eddie can start to intensify omo conversation regarding Kuku. But the stumbling block now say buyer wants on loan. But Chelsea person turn on outright. And that is what they are discussing now. If you come Xavi Simons and Garnacho, they will decide. But now the friends are in say I need somebody because season is long. And they don't know how long this boy will stay. Send Odi can AC or no. Ubet me about say yes 6 months, 7 months. Ube back. Then what's answer coach? Any been to Rodri no. Rodri about our boss matches so. But what's answer another injury. So we might miss him the whole of the season. But we cannot go into the season with only Tosin Adarabio Yope. Now with these two defenders, these two. Osha this boy Caicedo Namo. This is game at Chelsea day. Leverkusen boy. And virus on for ne Levi Kowo and probably may some small AB. On for ne Levi Kowo starting into some from data MB listo. Say your cast will be coach and say obi you be starting the build. That means that you have to play more forward passes. Inti say ikita ball you build up either say you be pressing on the ball no arani edge and defender no and I say or be ball passes some man and defender cover is better man Koswamaya. In terms of aerial abilities there Liverpool was saying but say yem ball no MY players yem for ball and carry and come to attacking space boy ni very good. Inti the list to who check here against Levi, only Levi Cole was starting in it. Last season, starting it. The player had more ball carrier. Oh, Taruni Gadini. Yeah. Now catches for comfort.
No, or your left footer.
Left footer.
Okay.
And Otimisu as the left back when Imwaye Diamano and at Liverpool under Xabi Alonso. Sometimes it's either he's playing in the central midfield or no ball as the left center back. So or your left center left footed player. But he's very good on the ball. Listen, who checking the passes are any the number of forward passes. He played more forward passes than Liverpool. And last season, I think back Chelsea fans, they did to your home, especially about Liverpool and the forward passes and the progressive passes. Say young ball passes, 25 meter, 10 meter in front of the goal. I bet him their creative chances. Listen, last season, progressive passes or Bobby and Liverpool. Then apart from that passing, you know. Coach, you know, stating it clear, say he will need a player who can obey the centerpiece of a team. You be build up and a fan. So apart from that, duels, any possession and tackles. So he's a player. He's there. This to Ofri Colombia. Only Caicedo ne free club. Only William Pacho. And about the center pair. Sorry, Ecuador.
Okay.
Ofri Ecuador.
Okay.
So South American player, intensity, height. And he's good on the ball. So to me, I think that player, if he comes in, he's also going to be a very good addition to the team. Okay. And that Brazilian chap, also I think so will lead. He's honestly very good on the ball, but he can't pay a player who didn't start compare Liverpool all this season. Because most of the time you have posted defenders with the most progressive passes, defenders with the most forward passes, not Liverpool. But before ever be in this season, this boy overtaking Liverpool in all these aspects. So to me, if we get him, the integration and young equal players, especially in the last few seasons, especially in the league, when they come, Estupinian and Moises Caicedo, because of the intensity now, they tend to
do well.
Yes,
okay.
in the league. So to me, I would want to say Chelsea will buy this boy. Now, already, we must start seeing Liverpool have a conversations. And if he comes, he's another player. He can also slot in as a left back. Who will player versatility or make him be.
Okay. All right. Into no any idea or no. Me ma hot one pa minimum. What the any age man? No me patch up. We share mami. 3 matches fair.
Yes, style build. Team coming then come
Kamema Galatasaray any Fatih Karamungu. Ombe shom be there. Derby match because Uncle Fo so more Istanbul. Into home win, half-time win, full-time win over 3.5 edema Galatasaray. And Liverpool so and then be share bomb of brutal. Liverpool half-time win, full-time win over 2.5. And Villarreal ne Real Oviedo. Villarreal to score in both halves. Also no. Aye kesiya papa. Also no. I'm sure me also no. Also ne 11 odds. 11 odds. Na me bana afi me dimo room me pick. Okay, so Liverpool ebe share bomb off. Marseille any Stade Rennais there no. Marseille to score. Villarreal win either half. And we and matches no. Yankofa team Basabianshim no meseno. Tottenham Hotspur win. Man City win.
What the weekend?
Yeah, me de nyina afra.
Weekend.
Monaco win. Oh, maka no mo. Okay, nti yanko Sunday. Sunday, Nottingham Forest home win or draw. Metz and Strasbourg away go and Paris Saint-Germain to score 2. Fenerbahce to score 2. And Galatasaray to score 2. Barca win either half and Real Madrid win. Atletico Madrid maybe. Atletico Madrid one Espanyol nebo omomo sa match nti ya no ya me us no Atletico be win the but omona me amu yetim a I will never trust them again nti me matches no.
Okay, me selection for ene on say your statistics in Ayana engage am for sports arena page no Telegram.
Yeah,
this na Ayana ye the weekend games no. But we are the games. Amedema a Ashafonia Tifo in Sassuolo, and Catanzaro, and Coppa Italia, Sassuolo to win, straight win for Sassuolo. Galatasaray any fate Karamuguma, Rebebo, Galatasaray to win. Stade Rennais, any Olympic Marseille, straight win for Olympic Marseille. Liverpool, any Bournemouth, straight win for Liverpool. And a Genoa, any Vincenza V2s, straight win for a year Genoa. 5 games, code no a year Y4HY. Y4HY.
all right.
Yes. At least to me, and then my predictions I make for Chelsea and a Crystal Palace game on Bebo me call for Chelsea straight win. Liverpool and so game of Bebo and the Liverpool win over 2.5. Manchester City straight win. Now Tottenham straight win because big teams in Abidjan Barcelona straight win and so Atletico Madrid game of Bebo and also make Atletico 1.5 or me code no X4HY MYBET.AFRICA.
All right. Nti no. Ya bonfire say my team big teams no yesrew mo Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Munche, na Barca share, Atletico share, Real Madrid share. Oh, na Olympic Marseille ma share. PSG nanka ma share. Galatasaray share, Fenerbahce share. PSV share, Feyenoord share, Ajax share. Oh. Enwani yesre in senya me be ya maye eti yenko ye FPL no na fe ya yemfa code ne fanto on fama ahwefo
enti endi kan hwe my bet for FPL any this season o mo sha se enti ube join ni group no and ube join ni league no now so aba be come mo hwa enne da so fefefe build play and win and my bet for ka chen na my bet for FPL no mu ede omo say this season ade omude ya many age hu ni say final price no omu decide on say managers ahia be join no any sika ahia omude be ma okay ene say managers 5,000 join here at the end of the season no 5,000 Ghana cedis and omude che final winner.
Oh okay
we yeah they say who join no na wo share na down for join na final price ni mu yedu nti etimi do 10,000 etimi do 7,000 etimi do 8,000 at the end of the season wow that first and omude ma na there and in siwa at the end of every month who are top manager of the month I get see with me who are top manager of the month obeji 500 Ghana cedis in so free mu nti no top I get say abeji September abeji nti wo adwuma abeya ne say download the we Premier League app no register na fi the code in the word code no QBOT87 QBOT87 obe join now so aba be can we no na steps near very simple ene you create my bet account because ene say we do 500 na my bet account na no be too amount the next thing at least within the month no your deposit of 200 Ghana cedis week be 50 cedi now the bet on MYBET.AFRICA and you can see a mouse into a deposit of 200 Ghana cedis. Now follow MYBET social media platforms no Facebook or TikTok or Telegram or X any YouTube channel because a one year announcement nafa send your own messi out tell ko winia na afi we say eh na me ba beji misika who follow channels ni na a week 500 Ghana cedis amount na manager bi oba ba be ka ho no MYBET the 100 cedis e ka we price fund ne ho inti ene se manager stand e wom na ba ko be ka ho increase ko 1001 inti wo share amount down for na price fund ni increase we nya se menya nti wo de share wa ho wo de down for be ka ho na sika ne mu yedu inti ene join ne MYBET FPO code na da ase ono QBOT87 QBOT87 onso join ne na onso nya sa experience na hu ya yenko sports arena yenso yen fantasy league no na yendi hu komo virus infanto so my sports arena fantasy league no ni ndi e no so hu komo sia into sports arena fantasy league ade aye ne say this season yenso ye join fantasy league into so be kan busua no ho chen managerial skills na onso ene o sorry a Vincent say obedi managers attempt saa ene mo yen fan to so the same code na yen fan to so the same code na ha inti no o sorry a managers they ope bia na catch Vincent ene ichi wo bobre e wo sports arena fantasy league code na da so no 2UXJXD QU yeni na small letters so bo ahema na afi the ones who join who players go so players akuku dampa anti no onso join na onso chair managerial skills na ade ba kwa sports arena ebe ni say every Friday bia no and at the end of first week no your manager obedi no your ba be boni din na ebie di na ba show ni so kra no no so aba be chen ade nti a onu so timi picky teams onu so timi lead yen group ti join two fantasy league groups we na onso kwan bia so no fiscal na chair managerial skills ye ba be season ni mo.
All right nti no timpa bona na igusu aye bo no srawa wotwetwe mo ba bia no wajai ni ahese ya face first week because first week ni tumi dia ene de be ma yanya mora na di ewura eye weeks ba na ti ya sra big teams ni po ma chopa mo mo de na de obia wi ni man na bibia anye den enkoye ote Benedict nkasa na ote Vincent nka abrante friend ko the virus wa say asuna 36 wa nyame adoma Monday ye be ba na afi de akamu ni nyina ye de abrem yakram